Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be talking more in depth about taking your child to the US on a K2 visa, right? So bear with me. I'm sounding really stuffy today. I'm recovering from sinus allergies. I don't know what kind of season we're in, but I guess it's a time for it, right? So anyways, let's get into it, right? So I'll be following my handy dandy notebook on all the tips and insight into this part, right? So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, right? So the two conditions that your child has to have in order to be viable for this K2 visa, right, is your child must be unmarried and under 21 years of age, right? Once those conditions are met and you can also prove that you are the foreign fiance to the US petitioner and that relationship is established, then everything should be good, right? So if you haven't seen my video on K1 and K2 visa, you can check that out. I will provide the link to the description below, right? So first off, you should include your child or children, because you know you can have more than one K2s, right? Include them in the I-129F petition from the start, right? Another thing is, once your case has gone through USCIS and went to NVC, now this is the time when you will track it and see if it is ready and it has been sent to the embassy. Once it reaches to that point, you're gonna want to file and submit your DS-160s, right? So if you have more than one K2s, you're gonna have to do separate DS-160s, right? Once you print those, you should have a DS-160 confirmation sheet with the barcode at the top per K2 applicant, right? That's if you have more than one. The next thing is you want to pay separate visa fees. Again, it's not just one fee for all of you, right? It's gonna be separate fees per applicant, right? So if you have more than one children, you're gonna file separate fees, right? Pay separate fees, right? You wanna set your interview dates and your medical dates. Make sure that you set them with enough time between them, right? I know sometimes due to the system and then limited space and all of that, it's not always like that, but ideally you want to make sure that you set your medical and your interview dates with enough space between them, right? You want to also make sure that you try to get a date where you and your K2s can come on the same day for the interview and the medical, right? Another thing is you want to ensure that they have their documents as well. Of course, proof of relationship is not really necessary for them. However, you want to make sure that they have a passport that is valid for at least 6 months. Passport pics at least 6 to 7, because they will need 4 for the medical, 2 for the interview. But sometimes something may happen, just carry extra, right? Make sure that they have their birth certificate and walk with a copy of that. Make sure that they have police record if they are 16 and up, right? Or if they have lived in a different country other than Jamaica and they've lived there for like 6 months or so, make sure that they have a police record from that country, right? But that's for minors like 16 and up, right? Another thing is make sure that if they're 12 and up, make sure that they have a COVID vaccine card for the medical, right? Because if they're 12 and up, they would have to take that COVID vaccine. So try and get that in advance, right? Another thing is DS-160 barcode sheet. So that's the printout from the DS-160 form that you have completed and submitted. That's the thing that you get in the email where you have to print it out. Make sure it have the barcode at the top, and that should have the biographic information for your K2s, right? Another thing is immunization records. You're going to need those for the medical so that they know which vaccines your K2 has already taken, what they do need. Another thing is a separate I-134 form, and that's the affidavit of support. So of course, you, the K visa applicant, needs it, but the minor also needs one for themselves, and make sure it is also signed, right, by the US petitioner. Another thing is if they are 18 and between 18 to 20 they should have a no impediment to marriage as well, because this is to establish to the US government that the K2 is not married, because that is one of the conditions that will make them eligible for the K2 visa, right? So the next phase, once you go to the interview, the medical and everything check off, and you're approved, you get your passport, your visa in hand, your suitcase, everything, and you're in the US now. This is where it all starts, right? Within the US, you want to think about enrolling them into a local school, whether public or private. Make sure that you have the relevant documents for that K2, right? For the K2 or K2s, right? You want to make sure that they have the birth certificate, the educational records, the report cards, educational transcripts, their immunization records, COVID card, all of those things. Make sure you pack those in your suitcase, because the school may ask for one or all of those documents I just listed, right? Another thing is to apply for their social security. They're too young to get their social security. Another thing is schedule pediatric checkups at some point and sort out an insurance for them, right? So the other things is definitely more about their emotional and mental social development, because again, they are transitioning from a different country to a new country. They're not used to all of that. I know with my daughter, I took her out of school. She was just in kindergarten, starting off in kindergarten, so I transitioned her from there and to a new country, but I made sure to at least speak to her briefly at her level, what was expected and where are we going and how our life will be, right? Because it's a whole different change. She leaving her friends, she leaving everything she used to, her school, her teachers. She was in dance class, so she used to being out there and socializing with her peers and all of that, right? So it was a whole new change. So make sure that you speak with your K2s before you guys leave the country, and also during. Still continuously check in with them, how are they feeling, because it's a whole different change, right? Be supportive and patient with the kids then, because again, it's a whole thing for them. They might not be adjusting to it as well. You don't know what you may expect, so just be present, be patient, be supportive, maintain your open communication. Like I said, just check in with them often, how are they feeling, right? Another thing is you want to still create a consistent daily routine, so that shouldn't change. Just kind of tweak it a bit, because it's again different country, different time zone. Make sure you just have a routine for them that is consistent for them, right? And that includes like home, school, play, family time. Make sure that it is consistent, right? At this time you want to visit, as long as it's within budget, visit like the parks, them local attraction, restaurant, get to know the country, the whole customs and all of that, because it's all new to them, right? Make sure that they have a little fun while adjusting to the whole new environment, right? Another thing is, if it's applicable, sign them up for any extracurricular activities within the state or the city, right? So of course, AOS is also applicable to the K2s as well. You are adjusting as the fiance. Once you're married, within the 90 days to your US petitioner, you're gonna adjust your status. You have to adjust the K2 status as well, so that they can reside within the country legally and lawfully, right? So again, for this to go through this other phase, the kids must be unmarried and under 21, and this definitely matters, right? The parents, another condition, the parents have to be married to the US petitioner within the 90 days, so that they can be adjusted properly, right? So next thing that you're going to focus on for them as well as yourself, because you both have to do that, right? You will file the form I-485, which is permanent residence, so that they can reside in the country legally, right? Gather the documents to support. So that would be the proof of the parents' marriage, which is the marriage certificate. Definitely gonna need that to establish the how they got here, right? So you're gonna need that, the birth certificate, a copy of the I-94 and the travel record. a copy of the K2 visa, which is in the passport, evidence of the US citizenship, which would be like a birth certificate or a naturalization certificate, citizenship certificate, something like that, to show, you know, their their citizenship within the country, right? Another thing is they're gonna need 2 passport size photos, a completed I-864 from the petitioner, because the petitioner has to file those things, I-693, which is the report of the medical, and they have to have a copy of that vaccination records, right? Next thing that is only applicable depending on the age, they have to attend a biometrics appointment where they will be asked to, you know, do the fingerprint, signature, and photographs are taken, right? And that's done at the, you know, nearest USCIS office, right? They will email you and tell you where to meet up for that appointment. So they may attend the interview at that office as well. It really depends on their age. It really depends on what USCIS is looking for. So after this, they either will be approved and receive a green card, or an RFE, which is request for more evidence, right? If it's not really looking so right to USCIS, right? And at that time, after that's all done and they get the green card, that is when, you know, continue to be within the country. You know, at some point they'll be able to work and receive certain benefits, right? At some point you're gonna want to adjust for citizenship, and they will get the US passport again if they are under 21 at this point. They're eligible for that, right? But you as a parent would have to file the requisite documents so that they can get that, right? Because they have to gain it through you, not the US petitioner. So that in all is just really a process in itself. So that is it, guys. I'm still in the process at this moment, so once I reach to a next phase, I'll definitely update you guys and do a video. Don't forget to put your questions down below. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for supporting thus far. I will see you in the next video. Bye.